How are you lads? Bit of a different setup than you're used to. Usually you see all the Guinness memorabilia on the back wall. That's in Mammy's. I've recently moved out, so I'm on the balcony in my new pad. Still working for Mammy's because that's the Guru HQ. Haven't done a Q&A since January. People always have different questions in terms of Guinness. Also, I want to talk about my recent experience in LA, general American crack. People with loads of questions about all the tipping and all that sort of stuff. So I put it up on Instagram. If you're not following me on the gram, you had a plonka at the Guinness Guru, same as the YouTube channel. And yeah, I put up the Q&A there. I might start with the LA stuff first. Try keep this Q&A under like half an hour, but God knows there's a fucking serious amount of questions, lads. Honestly, was not expecting this amount. There's a lot of questions here that would have been in the Q&A 6 months ago. I'm going to link that maybe in the description or something, because there's no point if you watch that one and me just answering all the same questions. So I'm going to try answer new ones, but I do get asked the same stuff all the time. Where's the best pint of Guinness? How did you get started? That's all in the old Q&A. Yeah, so starting with LA, first question, what's the story with the whole tipping culture out there? I had been to America before. If you have not been before, be warned, be ready. It's night and day. It's like been on a different planet. So basically how it works is, as far as I'm aware, the bar staff get paid dog shit, like maybe $4 or $5 an hour, and they basically live off of the tips you give them. So if you get a drink that's say under $10, say you get a drink for, I was told $1 per drink, so say you get a drink for $5 or $6, say it's $6, you give them $1 tip. And I was also told, like, all the ones you have in your wallet, they're literally just for tipping. You basically walk around as if they don't belong to you. They're just for tips. Then general rule of thumb is 20%. So if you get a meal in a restaurant, you tip 20%. They give you the thing that'll say, they'll give you the receipt that'll say what, like 18% is this much money, 20% is this much money, 22% is this much money. But generally with drinks, yeah, $1 or $2 per drink. Like I was getting a pint for $8, and all the barman did was pour it. Now $8 is actually cheap, but all the barman did was pour it and give it to me. Didn't even bring it to me, and I still felt obliged to give him the full 10, which was felt mad. But I didn't really know that they get paid such dog shit. Not an anti-tipper whatsoever. I would actually like to think I'm a decent tipper at home, but yeah, kind of $1 a drink, and if it's over say $10 or something big, 20%. Heading to LA with the lads in August, anything in particular you would recommend to do? So myself and Mrs. Guru, we hit up Universal Studios in Hollywood on the last day, and I have to say I wasn't too pushed about going in the first place. I was kind of dragged along. Arguably the best day of my life. It's cost you a fortune, $130 for the ticket, and then it's kind of no point going if you're not going to get the fast pass, because with the fast pass you just skip all the queues and you're not waiting, you just go on the rides like over and over and over. Fast pass was like $160, so you're talking like $300 before you've even gotten in the place. But I'm a bit of a frugal bastard, but to be honest, it was worth it because we didn't have to wait a second in line. You could go on the ride 3-4 times before the other poor bastards even got on it. But yeah, Universal Studios would hugely recommend. We went down to Santa Monica. It was a bit like we were staying, the hotel we were in was in like Beverly Hills, so we were kind of like sheltered from all the sort of, I don't know, the darker side of LA. And then when you go down to Santa Monica, you really see, like, just calling a spade, a lot of homeless people, just a lot of people on drugs. By the way, the fucking train goes by the new gaff, probably the only downside. Then the only other thing I'd really recommend would be the hikes. We went up to the Griffith Observatory. I think you can do like Runyon Canyon, stuff like that. But a top tip that we were told, and we did, if you get like an Uber or a Lyft up to say Griffith Observatory to go for a hike, you're probably better off just paying them. I think we paid them like $40 in cash. Cowboys Ted paid him $40 to stay. So we went around hiking for like an hour, and he just stayed, and then he brought us back because apparently it's just impossible to try get an Uber or a taxi back from there. So pro tip. People asking were the pints really as bad as I was putting across in the video? Yeah, if not worse, to be honest. Like, if you're watching the page long enough, you'll know, like, I was probably a bit of a prick at the start, when just trying to kind of make a name for myself, I suppose. But in the last, say, like 2 years, if you watch it, like, I do hate giving bad reviews. I don't take pleasure in it. I'm not going around like, this is shit, thinking I'm funny and all. Like, when it's bad, it might come across funny because I'm miserable, but I really take no pleasure, like I said, in giving bad scores, bad reviews, because I know, like, especially if it's maybe an Irish owned place like that, usually more so if it's bad than good, but if it's bad review, chances are it might get back to the owner or the managers, whatever, and I know they're probably going to see it and think this lad's an absolute dickhead. But that's kind of you live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing. So that's just comes with the territory. Any more cliches there? Any more phrases, lad? Yeah, no, the pints genuinely in LA were the worst standard of pints I've ever had, like in one city. There's a couple other LA questions, but I'm just going to give you more so my actual just tips and things I learned. So one thing is the ID. You need like ID even if you look about 50. We went to this bar and we were with people in their 50s and they were asking for ID, so just make sure you don't go anywhere without ID if you're planning on having a few slurpees. Then the weather was alright. It was kind of cloudy in the mornings, and I sound like I'm fucking ringing home to me, man. Yeah, cloudy in the mornings. It was kind of cloudy in the mornings and then warm during the day, but it was quite windy, and I was told that before I went. You wouldn't really just be rocking around in a t-shirt all day. You'd want an Elganzi or something, like a jumper in the evenings, but weather talk, that's fucking boring, isn't it? Other thing I wrote here is, like, you just have to pay for everything. Like, everywhere you go, expect to just have to lay down like $20, $30, $40, $50 no matter what it is. It's not a city you can really walk around. I did a bit of walking because I wasn't really in any mad rush, plus the Uber app wasn't fucking working, but it's not, you can't explore it on foot. So I don't know, maybe bicycles, it's still, you can't even explore it on a bicycle. You just got to get Ubers everywhere, so just make sure you have the phone with you and it's sorted and it's grand. We're also near the airport, if you couldn't hear the planes, trains and fucking automobiles driving by the gaff. And the last thing I noticed that was kind of funny was that I kind of knew already, but it's funny one, not promoting gambling, but sports betting is illegal in, like, I'd say maybe 70% of states in the US, and California being one of them. So I have an app, I won't name it, no free ads, but I have an app on my phone that I use from time to time, nothing major, and I was trying to go onto it and it just wouldn't load, and I realised that must be because there's some reason I can't use it, because sports betting is banned in LA. So if you're a fella who likes to now punt on the donkeys or an L accumulator, just be wary that you can't do it if you're living in LA. Right, lads, bear with me. I hope you're enjoying the Q&A. A quick word, like I always say, gotta pay the bills somehow. A quick word from the sponsor of this video, the legends that I call Manscaped. They sponsored all of the LA vlogs. They were literally the reason I was able to go. So thank you to Manscaped. You can use my code PINTS20 to get 20% off plus free shipping on the whole website. They've got the Ultimate Performance Package 4.0. That's the best bang for your buck. Can't go wrong. They've also got new products such as the Plow, which is a clean shaven razor. Wouldn't mean that myself, but if you are, it's your only man. They have a little sort of grooming nail kit. That's the absolute business. And they're always adding loads of different cool accessories. But again, best bang for your buck. Ultimate Performance Package 4.0. The lawnmower, the weed whacker. All the best tools for the job down below on your balls. Pints20 is the code. Manscaped.com. 20% off plus free shipping. Back to this EJ talking scutter about himself on a balcony. Right, that's enough about Los Angeles. Again, lads, I will repeat myself. There's a lot of questions here, just like, are you doing this full time? Where's the best place you've been? Go watch the first Q&A from back in January. I answer all that stuff. Yes, I am doing it full time. I've been doing it full time since like October last year. Longer answers, all how much money I make, stuff like that in the last Q&A. So many general questions about where you going next. I like to think I pride myself on being honest. I think I've always been honest on the channel. Right now, I'm in a bit of a, I don't know, would you say, transitional in-between kind of stage with Guinness Guru. I still am 100% going to keep going to new cities, new towns. But I do feel like I've tried to kind of switch it up a little bit lately. I think there was a phase of about 2 months where I just did like 6 videos in a row. It was like, best Guinness in Wexford, best Guinness in Killarney, best Guinness in Donegal. It was just the same video over and over and over. And there was even a few comments, and I totally agree, it was like, it's getting a bit repetitive, and I was just kind of giving like 8.1s and 7.9s. So I like the LA thing, that stuff like going to the smallest pub, the Guinness 00. I find that stuff's good to like switch it up. But eventually, like, the well is going to run dry, and I don't think it's enough content. I don't think there's enough content in just going to like different city after city after city, week after week, because that gets boring for you and it gets boring for me. But so I don't have an exact hit list lined up for the next few months. But what I would say is, in a dream world, a lot of people, because I went to LA, were saying, why didn't you go to New York, Boston? That they would be my two ideal places to go in America. I just happened to be going to LA with Mrs. Guru, so it wasn't like that was top choice. But yeah, places I would love to go: New York, Boston, closer to home. I still definitely want to do the likes of Manchester, Newcastle. I want to hit London again. But yeah, and then there's loads of little towns and some. I think I've covered most of the big cities in Ireland. There's a lot of towns, but again, I want to do them sort of gradually, like not just every week, just a new town, because I just think the content gets boring. This is a really good question. Do you get sick of being asked to rate every pint you drink when you're not doing a review video? So say, I presume you mean if I go down to the local with my mates, or I go into town or somewhere in Dublin. Yeah, like it pretty much, I don't know, it depends who I'm with. Like my close friends, we would kind of, which I think a lot of groups of mates are kind of like now, we would go somewhere and we'd get Guinness, and then it would come and we'd comment on it very vaguely. Good pint, yeah, decent pint. And one of the lads might say, probably a 7, probably an 8. And I'd go, yeah, probably a 7 or an 8. And that'd be it. Like the whole novelty of it kind of wore off with my friends pretty quick, in a good way. Like at the start it was kind of like, what's the stick? But I've been doing it kind of 2-3 years now. That's kind of worn off. So thankfully now I can, and I didn't really think I'd be able to, but I can go to the pub with my mates, 3-4 lads, and just drink pints in peace, and no one's really saying much. If it's in my local in Ashburn, again, people like from your hometown don't really give a shite, do they? The barman might go, how's the pint, but again, they don't really care, but in a good way. But definitely if I went to a busy pub in town in Dublin, and there was a lot of random people around and I was drinking a pint, I think people just presume I'm doing a video, and they'd all be asking me, and I'd just be like, yeah, it's grand. I wouldn't start giving out scores unless I have to. I'm yet to try a pint of Kilkenny. Describe how it tastes in 3 words. Oh wow. I would say creamy, fresh, and delicious. Financially, was it worth it to leave your job and go Guru full time? Yeah, so I'm probably full time, like, it's actually mad, but it's probably about 9 months now, and luckily enough the money is grand. It's nothing crazy. I feel most of the money, pretty much all the money, is through YouTube sponsorships and the little bit of ad revenue you make. I do think I could make money from Instagram more if I wanted to, because I have a pretty good following, could do like ads and stuff, but I don't know, I'm not too arsed. Plus, I've said this before, but most people that would have a similar following to me would be with an agency who would get you kind of Instagram jobs and TikTok jobs, but it's just not really something I'm interested at the moment, even though I know I could probably make a bit more money from it. But I'm just kind of happy enough with the way the money's coming in with YouTube and stuff. So yeah, I could probably possibly join an agency and do, like, you know, Instagram ads, like, but I just find Instagram posts are a bit more in your face ad wise than say my video sponsors. Just my opinion. Guinness is not a summer drink. How far do you agree? Well, it's obviously not a summer drink, but I have to say it's grown on me in terms of drinking Guinness in the sun. I would have used to think no chance at all, but even like in LA, even though the pints were dire, like I was walking, sometimes I was walking half an hour, 45 minutes to get to a pub, and if I was sitting out in the heat, it was probably just because any sort of drink would have been nice. But no, I have to say Guinness in the sun is definitely growing on me. Do you think you'll have more special guests going forward? You'd be well known enough to attract, I presume they mean. It's a funny one, lads, with guests. Again, I'll be totally honest, I've had a couple of guests, like, very early doors, like it was like Rory Stories, who I know very well, Mango, the rapper from Dublin, who I know very well, Paddy O'Rourke, who I know very well. These were just lads who I just rang up and said, "Mom, we do a pint." I've always tried the odd time. Never, I wouldn't say I tried too hard, because I didn't want to come across like beggy and being like, I don't know, I think I would need like, I don't know, a producer or something who was willing to kind of just keep asking and asking and asking. I've had guests kind of, I wouldn't say lined up, but like I've spoken to plenty of different people through Instagram, and I've been like, how are you, would you fancy coming into a video for a pint? And like, these would be people that probably already follow me, and you know, stuff like comedians, singers, podcasters, stuff like that. And it would always be like, it always goes the same way. It's kind of like, yeah, absolutely up for that, love the page, love the pints, blah blah blah. And then I'll kind of say like, all right, let me know when you're free. And they'll kind of say, oh yeah, pretty busy at the moment, but I'll let you know. And then I might get back onto them in like a month or two, and they kind of say, oh yeah, or you might schedule something for like a month's time, and then you remind them, and they either forgot, or they have to change it last minute, like stuff like that. And I'll give you an example, and again, this is not one bit me saying like, oh fuck's sake, but say the likes of the two Johnnies. I spoke to Johnny B a few times. He's been following me, sound lad, and I'd be like, now these, you gotta remember lads, these two Johnnies, those lads are filming 8 days a week, do you know what I mean? So like between their podcast, RTE, like all the fucking stuff in America and all, so it's like you're trying to get those two lads free, and then they might be up in Dublin, but then their plans are ever changing, and you're kind of saying, are you free tonight? And you go, and then they have to change it. And it's, unless I was to be like, just send them a million trillion messages, that's the only way it would get done. But I'm not really arsed doing that either. So something like that, like I'm sure maybe I'll do a video with them someday, but it's just that sort of thing, that people do seem up for it, but when it comes to actually scheduling it, they're always so busy. Because like, I want to get guests that are like, people want to see. I don't just want to get random guests for the sake of it, like, so it would be, you know, like two Johnnies and stuff like that. People obviously want to see that on the channel, but it just always seems that final hurdle, they're just flat out, and they just kind of have either forgotten about it or need to do something else, and there's never any hard feelings, because I can't imagine being that busy, do you know what I mean? So that's just kind of the crack with guests, and I kind of just, I wouldn't say gave up, but I kind of just stopped asking people, because they just never really seem to come full circle. Would you be aware of the influence your page has had on Guinness drinking? Yeah, I think so. There's no like way of quantifying it, big word, but yeah, there's no way of really knowing what sort of effect me personally I have had on the Guinness culture. Definitely not just me, there's loads of other Guinness pages, but I would like to think, like, I've had a lot of people say to me like, geez, I was in a pub and these group of lads were sitting behind me talking about the shtick and the dome and rating the pints, and they were saying like, and a lot of people have said to me, never tried Guinness, I'm 30 years old, never tried Guinness, drink it now and I love it. So I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I do think I've been doing this a while. I'd be fairly prominent on stuff like TikTok, which will get a lot of younger people involved. But yeah, I would say I've had a decent impact on the Guinness drinking culture, and that leads into the question that I get asked the most, which is, have Guinness ever contacted you? Do they want to work with you? Short answer is no, and I've answered it a million times, but the only time ever, I think through a PR company, they sent me like the Guinness 00 cans. I said I didn't like them. It was just a blind taste test, and then I was sent the Nitro Surge, which I said I did like. That's the only contact, and not even contact, that's the only sort of thing I've ever been sent. Never any contact. I'm sure I could maybe, through connections, possibly get some sort of a meeting with someone in Guinness, but for now it's just not my MO. I think I'm advertising their product, so they don't really need to pay me, and then I'm kind of making a living from tasting their product. So it's kind of like, you would think we should be working together, but it kind of, what's that sort of phrase with the sun and the earth just moving around each other, never need to actually touch or cross paths, because we're both I'm getting value out of them, they're getting value out of me. So favorite takeaway, nice light question. Pizza, Domino's, basic bitch. What's your hangover remedy? more pints. But if you can't have more pints, my thing is, if you're already hungover dying, I don't know if there's much you can do about it, but there's a lot of preventative measures you can take. Call me a bitch, call me a pussy, but I would definitely drink a good bit of water throughout the night. Only if I'm trying to avoid a hangover here. Drink a good bit of water throughout the night, say every like 2 or 3 pints, just have a glass of water. Trust me, it does wonders. And then also, I think a really bad thing to do is like, say, drink until 2 in the morning and then go to sleep at 10 past 2. You want to kind of get outside, say, you know, walk around, walk to the chipper, get some food, soak it up, drink some water. So like, probably good if you're going to bed, say like an hour or 2 after your last drink. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what you can do once you're bollocks and dying. People say like, oh, jump in the sea, go for a run, sweat it out, drink water, drink coffee. I think once you're dying, and you just got to accept it and just curl up in a ball. And my thing with hangovers is, like a lot of you, is the physical. I can deal with the physical, it's the mental. And I never really suffer from anxiety or depression or anything like that. But when I'm hungover, I think I am the biggest piece of shit in the world. It's unbelievable. Like, can you suggest a pub crawl for Dublin with the best Guinness? Crawl in terms of an actual order, I can't really think, but if you're going to hit 5, you'd have to hit the Gravediggers, you'd have to hit Bows, Mulligans. I'd go to Walsh's and Stony Batter, and then maybe the Cobblestone, probably for the live music more than the pint itself, but that would probably be my 5. What is your limit to not get completely hammered during your videos? I've set a limit. I didn't really know what I was doing at the start. I set a limit now of 5 pubs. So no matter what happens in the video, I'll try my very best not to do more than 5, because I think even when I'm editing the video, I'm looking at that 5th review and I'm a bit like talking shite and scuttering out my arse, talking bollocks. So yeah, any more than 5 and I'm just going to be like too tipsy or / drunk in the video. So yeah, limit of 5. Most I ever did, I think, was Galway. I did 7 pubs. I was locked by the end of it. Again, lads, there's a load of questions there, just obviously Guinness related questions, kind of stuff about the glass, stuff about what happens when you go into the pub. I'm pretty sure I did answer most of those questions in the first Q&A, so again, go back and watch that. I'll finish, I think, the same way I finished with the last one. People are always just keen to ask about the future of the whole thing. And I think it's not just like asking, it's not just like a normal, say, vlogger or whatever, because if I was just vlogging my life, it would just be like the future is just keep vlogging my life. But obviously, you know just as much as I do that drinking pints of Guinness isn't a lifelong sustainable thing or occupation. So I really, yeah, I said this before, I'll say it again. I know what I want to say, but I really don't want to start spouting out ideas and stuff here on camera and then just not go through with them and stuff. So I have like a dream in my head of what I want to do, say, over the next 12 months. Guinness Guru will continue, but other stuff will continue as well. Some of you will know, I kind of said a few months ago, I'm starting a thing called Guru TV, which was gonna be sort of like just a total expansion of Guinness Guru, but not exactly Guinness related content. So just, again, I don't want to really say much because I'm not exactly still 100% sure on what's going on, and I know people are probably sick now going, geez, he's been talking about Guru TV for a while, and he's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just give it a few more months, lads. I think I'm fairly certain on what I want. And let's just say I see a gap, as cliche as that sounds, I see a gap in the market for content for lads like you and me to enjoy on, I suppose, a more consistent basis than Guinness Guru. Guinness Guru is maybe a few YouTube videos a month. I do see a gap in the market for just, yeah, stuff for normal lads, and that's all I'm going to say. And I have a dream in my head that I hopefully will start to pursue in the next few months. Like anything, you need money for it, but yeah, that's the worst answer ever because I haven't really said anything, but all will be revealed. I think hopefully by Christmas we'll be on the right track, and I won't have to be all mysterious like this. But anyway, lads, fuck knows how long this is going to be. I could try edit it down to be, say, less than half an hour. But thank you for watching. See you in the next video.